It's almost the end of exams on campus, and soon a whole new group of students are leaving university to join the world of work. You'll be confronted by a lot of decisions that you don't know a lot about. Now, economics has a lot of interesting aspects to it, and it forms the background to which a lot of decisions are made about savings and investment. And you can think that something like inflation and interest rates have an impact on the world of saving and investing. But economists don't know as much about this as we would like to think. I'm also not qualified to give financial advice, so I thought it's best to actually invite some proper experts to the next couple of videos. And I want to introduce Jaco Fouché and Jaco Barnard as my guests today. Gentlemen, welcome. And maybe you can start us off with a few personal details. Just what is your background and how did you become interested in this world of personal finance, saving and investment?
Thank you, Waldo. It's a privilege to be here. As you said, I'm Jaco Fouché. I'm a professor in the School of Accounting Sciences, so I'm an accountant. My subject field is financial management, but I became interested in personal finance when I did my master's degree. I soon realized after starting to work that I don't know much because traditionally in our households, you will know, we don't talk about money. We don't talk about how much the parents earn and how they spend it. So I decided I wanted to know more. So I did my master's degree on personal finance, enjoyed it, learned a lot. And as the years went on, I really developed a need to help other people to also learn some of the basics. So me and Jaco can elaborate a bit, started to do presentations on personal finance. And then more and more people asked us, but can you advise us? And as you have rightly said, you need to be accredited, you need to be qualified to give financial advice. So then I did all the exams, the accreditations, became a financial advisor. And we have since really developed a need to share what we know with other people, as we always say, so that they don't need to make the same mistakes we make.
Hi, my name is Jaco Barnard, also accountant, so two boring persons here. You say we are experts. It's such a strong word, but I'll take it.
It sounds like the word friends.
Yeah,
so relative compared to me.
So I'm also, as I said, accountant. My subject field is management accounting, and the subject field is all about decision-making, planning, and control. And we're going to touch a bit on that today when we talk about budgets and planning and how you measure actual to the budget. So it's from a subject area. That's what I do. And unfortunately for me, I worked along with Prof. Fouché. So with time, I've got involved with the personal finance. And we just saw, as you said, there's quite a need for that. And we started to share with people about that. And the more we shared, the more we realized that what we sometimes assume people know, they just don't know. And I think in time we realized that no one is actually taught this stuff. Not at school, not even at university. I mean, we teach accounting students. And these skills and things that we actually share with people is actually not even taught to our students. We actually have a little session with them, and then they say, but they've been 4 years at varsity and nobody told them this stuff. So we're going to share a bit of that today with the viewers out there.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. And you are familiar with this world of cameras and recording, and you're also famous YouTubers. Maybe you can tell the audience a bit about where else they can catch up with your ideas and your sharing advice.
Yeah, Waldo. Well, as you know, the university, one of the legs that we have is community engagement. So as part of that, we really wanted to take this message on personal finance out there. So last year, we started before that, but last year it was launched, our YouTube channel, Jaco Kwadraat, or Jaco with the number 2.
Jaco squared.
So we started the YouTube channel where we wanted on a lighter note to share personal finance things, because it's often so serious and scary and people don't want to watch it. So we tried that. And then we also have a program these days on a local radio station. And then we are very excited because we are working on a podcast series ourselves, all to get the message out there.
Nice. That's really exciting.
And then we also written a book on the side plan that we that we plan
There's a book as well.
to relaunch a bit, and yeah, where we share, again, try to make it a bit more interesting, but I think we did not succeed in making it too interesting enough. Then we must maybe have a relook at it again.
Because I'm notching up that expert.
Yeah,
thing.
no, and famous. You use strong
Podcast
words
and a
here.
book. It's there. So gentlemen, to start us off, if people think about, well, I'm now financially independent, I'm earning a salary, how much do I need to save? What would you recommend? You're just starting off. As much as possible is of course a good answer.
Before he answers, because I know what he's going to give the nice, I guess the correct answer. But my view is this: your first salary, don't worry about saving. Just enjoy it. You have been working hard, you never got money, so the first salary, after that, and then you can go with. He does not agree with that. So
I don't agree with him, but we decided to disagree. But after that, Waldo, I think there's basically, first we must just talk about the reasons to save. Now, one reason is for your long-term goals, like retirement, or maybe in 5 or 10 years' time you want to buy a house or go overseas. The next reason is for unexpected events. Your car can break down or something gets stolen, and you have different amounts or different percentages that you need to save for that. But you first must decide, what do you want to save for? And we always say that your retirement or your long-term goals are probably the most important ones. And if you understand time value of money and inflation and that sort of things, the time is your biggest friend in that calculations. So the sooner you start, the better. And then to answer your actual question, how much should you save? Our rule of thumb is start putting away 15%. Get used to that's not your money, because the biggest problem is that when you start to work and you get used to spending it all, it's very difficult to later reduce your spending.
Yeah, and with that, we want to say that you actually have to pay yourself first. A lot of authors will say that. So you have to pay yourself first, and the only money that you actually spend on yourself is your saving. Other things are going to other people. So first put it away, and then just tell yourself that 15% that I put away, that's not my money. It's mine hopefully for the future, but not now. And that 15% is just, again, it's for the long-term part, the retirement part. Then the other part, you have to do some calculations, and we don't want to get too technical about that. But with time, if you put it extra away, it will help a lot. Yeah.
And well, I suppose the building block of this is a good budget, to have an idea of where the money's going, and that enables you to start squeezing your spending if you want to save a bit more. In the formal part of saving is often out of your hands. Your employer forces you to contribute to a pension fund, but the discretionary part that you decide over is much tougher because you actually have that money in your hands. And what are your views on a budget? Does it help, or does it put a lot of pressure on your personal finances and takes all the fun out of earning a salary?
Waldo, I always, when people ask me this sort of question, I always respond with another question, and that is, how many successful businesses do you know that operates without a budget? So, and yet we as individuals, as households, as families, try to do it without a budget. So I'm a firm believer that you really cannot be successful financially if you don't have a budget. And it needn't be as formal as accountants would do it. But you at least need to know what you earn and what you spend your money on and how much you spend on everything. One of the biggest things that we realized in our presentations is that you talk to people and they don't know what they spend their money on. And then, because if you add it up what they think they spent, you tell them, well, congratulations, you have a large surplus every month. And then they say, but we don't. So people don't know what they spend their money on. And when you just start to work, it is much more difficult because you have no experience. But I always say, but rather be wrong than not to have anything at all. And in the first 3 to 6 months, Jaco, you can keep a record of what you spend your money on, and that will start to give you an idea of how much you spent on different categories and if you need to make some changes.
Just almost a step back. Our one program that we do on the radio we call Enjoy Your Money. And that's actually the theme that we have with even our workshops, is to tell people that we want you to enjoy your money. We don't want to take the fun out of it. We work so hard to get it, so you might as well enjoy it. The problem is if you don't know where the money goes and you worry every month, you actually don't enjoy it. So the budget helps with that whole process, that if you know certain things are in place, your savings are in place, we're going to talk about insurance a bit later, those things are in place, then if hopefully there's some money left, then it's easy to enjoy it because you know we always say the boxes are ticked. So the things that needs to be done is done, and the rest of the money you can now actually enjoy. And if you want to spend it on funny stuff, then you can do it.
Yeah, and you don't need to worry about that. If you just really want to go and blow the money and you have ticked the boxes, why not?
Absolutely, and I think these days it's easier than ever. If you think about a budget, you think, how am I going to keep track of all my little slips, or do I need to spend hours every weekend reconciling my credit card statement with whatever I had planned? But there's an app for everything, and there are really nice ways of tracking your spending.
Most banks actually offer you these days some apps that's linked to your bank account that can do that automatically.
It makes life much easier, and it takes away all those excuses about why you're not sticking to your plans and thinking about this ahead. Now, I think in this sort of personal finance literature, there's a big view that you need to save aggressively. You need to cut out a lot of stuff, and I think in a way, lots of people get caught up in this world of conspicuous consumption and trying to be better than the Joneses and driving the new car and those sorts of things. How do you sort of choose in a different way, that you have money for fun stuff instead of you have stuff that you bought for all the wrong reasons? Do you guys have advice on that?
I think Jaco already addressed that. We really do believe you should enjoy your money. So aggressive spending is never on our
spending
discussion.
Or saving.
Aggressive saving and spending. Yeah. Aggressive saving is never on our to-do list, because it's like any diet that you want to do that's very aggressive. It's just not sustainable. It's not going to happen. You're going to waste your time. So you need to have a portion of your money that you can enjoy and do the proper amount of saving. And I think that's the same with spending as well. If you do everything in moderation, I think generally it's just better.
Yeah, more sustainable.
Most definitely, yeah. So we talked about the 15%, and then it's important to, I almost want to say, part of the long-term planning, and Jaco actually started with it where he said, but you must decide for what are you going to save. So just for saving's sake, I almost want to say no fun in that. Why are you saving? So if there's a purpose and a goal that you save towards, then it's totally something different. Then you put away that money for that, you do the calculations. Again, there's apps that can help you with that. And then you say, okay, put away that money. There's certain things that I have to stay somewhere, I have to buy some clothes, I have to do certain things, and make sure those things are done. And then the rest you can actually, let's call it, spend on fun stuff.
Oh, wow. So once you do have a little bit of saving, more discretionary stuff, your pension fund box is ticked, maybe you have a bit of life insurance, or you have health insurance of some kind, but now you've sort of have that little pot. Where do you take it? What are your recommendations on that? This is not sort of proper investment talk yet, just the broad principles.
Just to get started.
I've two answers there. So the first one, and it depends where you are in your life. Someone just starting out, I think will be totally different than someone that's been working for 10 or 15 years. So someone just starting out, I personally am a big fan of exchange traded funds. Asatrix is the well-known one, but there's a lot of different exchange traded funds out there. The reason for that, they are quite cheap. The costs are low. It's easy to start there. The minimum amount that they require is is not a lot. So from a cost perspective, it's quite easy to do that. So that's my view on someone starting out. You can come in just now. And then I think if you're older and you have a bond, I'm a big fan of saving in your bond. So any money that you have extra, and instead of putting it there, put it in your bond. It's tax-free, it's safe. You can't lose the money unless you spend it yourself. You're your biggest. So if you have debt, long-term debt, for me, that's a good place to save, if I can call it that.
Yeah, and I think then, of course, if you do it yourself, and me and Jaco have both had that discussion before, there's two things that's important. First of all, do you have at least some knowledge on how to do it yourself? And secondly, do you have the time? So both of us started off doing some investments ourselves and eventually gave it to people that's professional to do it on our behalf just because we don't have the time. And then we realized, but we are doing worse, even with the cheaper costs than the people that's taking a fee and do it properly. And therefore, I agree with Jaco. To start off small, to start off cheap is probably good. But if you don't have the time, or if you don't like it, or don't want to do it, go and talk to an advisor. There's many of them out there that will gladly assist you and introduce you and even educate you on how to do it. And you can start building, I almost want to say, a relationship with someone.
And I must say, I was always quite outspoken against financial advisors, that I have to admit here. And my view has changed on that. I mean, yeah, I don't want to say friend, that's a strong word, colleague, is a financial advisor. And I was also in the industry. And while we did that, we just realized, but it's a world that, although we are accountants, it's a world that we actually do not know and I don't want to say not understand. We studied it, and then after we understood it, we realized, but there are a lot of things that we never considered, that when you're exposed to it, there's a lot of things that you need to think about. So I've changed my view on financial advisors. I know a financial advisor that helps me. And I mean, I'm an accountant, I'm critical, and I use someone. And I have to say, the other day we had discussed my portfolio and my financial plan. And then this financial advisor told me he must discuss his with me as well, so that you just get this other opinion. I mean, I have my own views, I have my opinions, but it's someone that you can soundboard it against and just get some feedback.
Oh, gentlemen, thank you. That was really informative. I would love to chat to you more about investments, and that's coming up in the next episode. Thank you very much. So this is an episode of Economics Weekly with me, Waldo Krugell. If you enjoyed this, please like, join, subscribe, ask us any questions below, and we'll be happy to answer.